Today I have an anime I would like to recommend, and that show is none other than Kokkoku. Looking back, winter 2018 was one of my favorite anime seasons with bangers like Darling in the Franxx, Yudu Camp, Citrus. I mean, a fair amount of interesting stuff came up around then, but I'm so disappointed in my past self for skipping over this absolute masterpiece. First, let's speak on the plot. So the story goes a little like this. Judy, our main girl, is trying her best to get her life going and move out of her parents' house. Meanwhile, her entire family seems to be victims of unfortunate happenings. Her dad being laid off from his job, her older brother being a no-life shut-in like us, and her sister who's left alone to provide for her son Makoto, cause yeah, the dude she got with wanted one thing and one thing only. Some sad stuff for real. But upon Juri's whole job interview stuff not panning out as she might have liked, she's tasked by her sister with picking up Makoto from school, but tells their shut-in 30-year-old brother to do it instead. So he does that and gets freaking kidnapped by this shady group of dudes, along with the actual kid of course, and from that point they pretty much hold the two for ransom and threaten the family to cough up an absurd amount of money in a hilariously short amount of time. So with their family in danger and no time to work with, Judy's grandfather spills the secret of this time-stopping spell that's been passed down their family for generations, a spell that allows them to enter a world called stasis, which acts as a single frame in time, so they can move around like normal, but the world around them is completely stopped from the point that they used the spell. They plan to use this to their advantage, but to their surprise, they get ambushed by a group of scary individuals who have also found their own method to step into this single frame of time, stopping them in their tracks and preventing them from going forward with their little rescue mission. I'll cut it there because I obviously want you to see firsthand where it all goes from there, but that's the gist of how the story kicks off. Believe, it gets wacky very fast. Like, you'll start seeing some nutty stuff immediately after the events of what I described. I gotta add, I found this show to be very addicting to watch. It's funny because it's been so long since I felt this attached to a show. Like, I was so invested in the plot that I could not stop watching for the life of me. I'm sure that sounds normal to most of you madmen who binge entire shows in one sitting, but listen, I fell out of that habit a long time ago, so it made me really happy to feel genuinely interested in a story to the point where my heart and mind did not want to stop watching for whatever reason. It's a rather nostalgic feeling for me because I've really fallen off in that sense. On that note, Kokkoku truly does an impeccable job of leaving you wanting more. Like, each episode ends on the wildest cliffhanger and you're like, why would you end it there? And then of course you immediately jump into the next episode because what else are you gonna do? Take a break? No, you're dedicating the next 24 minutes of your life to finding out what happens next, and before you know it, you're stuck in a cycle. Moving on to characters. Keeping this section concise, if you're aware of what I enjoy in any show or comic, it's the characters. I absolutely live for a story with dynamic characters I can either feel on a personal level or just really enjoy watching for whatever reason. Our main girl Judy is so I wish women were real. I love her so much. She's just so easy to like. There's not a single main character I didn't enjoy in this show. Like, they all had their own personalities and didn't feel unnecessary to the overall progression of the story. I was also quite amused to see that while the show does have a rather serious tone, it also has its bits of comic relief sprinkled throughout, so you won't feel all bad during each episode. Now, when we talk about the world, the whole world of Stasis is so mysterious, it's nothing short of intriguing. It always has you wondering about just how the rules of this alternate space works and how every character will interact with one another in accordance to said rules. It really keeps you on the edge of your seat. My favorite thing about this show is how easy it was to understand what was happening. For me, it never felt like it was trying to overwhelm the watcher with insane levels of information they won't care for or remember. Like, if me and my baby brain can make some cool connections upon realizing something, then I believe it's safe to say that this show doesn't bloat itself with random lore for the sake of it. Personally, and I have to emphasize on the personally here, there was never a moment where I felt bored watching this show. I was invested every second of the way for the entire 12 episodes, which leads me to say that the pacing was quite nice for what needed to be accomplished. It didn't feel way too slow or rushed in any way, to me at least, and it felt just right to get every necessary point across. My final note for this show is, of course, the godlike opening that is Flashback. Immediately went on my Spotify playlist the second I heard it. Absolute banger of a song, super clean visuals to go with it, nothing but goosebumps, man. Hearing that music come on with quick flashes of the important characters here and there, so simple yet so effective. That's what anime openings are all about. It fits the whole vibe of the show so well. Probably a recency bias, but I'd put it in my top 10 openings for real. I legit don't trust anyone who consciously skips this one. But anyway, on to my closing thoughts. Kokkoku is amazing. I loved it, I enjoyed it. I don't know if you will too, but this is the first anime that I finished not only this year, but since 2022, which is kind of goofy when you think about it, but that's just what it is. But yeah, if you want, give it a go. Kokkoku, it's great. Again, at least I think it is. And if you already seen it, then I guess we can talk about it. Other than that, we're about out of here, so I'll see you all in the next one. It has been Otaku Dreams, and that is all she wrote.